We are back with our good friends at Underground Performance, and in this video we're going to show you an Audi TT and show you how it responds from mild to wild and see where it lands in terms of real-world performance both on the dyno and at the track.
So this is just £30.
Just a warm-up run.
Just a warm-up run, 30 psi.
Alex, this is the new project for Underground Performance, which you guys have built in very quick fashion, yes?
2 weeks since buying the car. So your classic car sales purchase. Not the most expensive on the market by a long way, but we've transformed this thing in, as you said, a short space of time. But we knew what we were going to do before we started, so it's been a bit of a plan for a while. Given the platform, how well we know these, the products that we have, what we've done before, we're pretty ready to go. The TTRS is the ultimate, right? 5-cylinder, 2.5 litre, that Audi warble. This isn't that, that's not what this is meant to be. So some of it's about what's obtainable, our customer base, the more common cars that they own, Golf Rs, S3s, this TT is no different, right? So it's 2 litre, quattro, all-wheel drive. It's actually a GTI based engine stock. Because we have intakes, exhausts, downpipes, turbos, everything on the shelf, we could just throw the catalogue at it, but we're doing it on one of the lightest chassis. It's got one of the lowest drag coefficients, and because it was a reasonable price, even after modifications, we're still at half the cost of a TTRS. It's still going to be an amazing thing, bang for buck, and again, that represents a larger breadth of audience for us than obviously those 5-cylinder owners, who we do support as well and do a number of things for.
And you were saying because of the smaller engine, arguably it probably steers a little bit better.
Yeah, there's going to be less weight in the nose. A lot of the stuff's less beefy. You know, it came with smaller wheels, smaller brakes. It doesn't matter, we're going to tear all of that out anyway. So the engine will come out eventually, obviously we'll be building that. We'll run lightweight, small wheels, smallest brakes possible. We'll tear everything out if we have to. It's a tool, that's what it's for. So definitely for street use, demos, customer experiences, drag strip. Obviously that's the main aim at the moment. Yeah, we'd like to do some circuit track work as well. We haven't really skimped on any particular area. It's got Öhlins suspension, Alcon brakes, get the roll cage in there, probably just a half cage in the rear. These do have a wider track than the Golf R and the S3, so we're running wider rubber.
So you picked up the car, Alex, and you said it was 50 Shades of Grey, yeah?
Yeah, Fiddy was the name we were going to call it. Whoever owned this car, I think it was an older couple first and then a younger couple bought it. We actually bought the car for less than they still owed on it. So I think they kind of bought it on a bit of a whim. It'd been parked under a tree, hadn't really been looked after. There were no big dents or scrapes, but yeah, haze all over it, cloudy areas, you know, it's a detailer's nightmare. But luckily I've got a really good detailer. He just went to town on it and just brought it back up. And if it looked like this when I went to buy it, I would have paid more for it. So I'm really happy with the result. We've done an RS grille on there just because the standard one's ugly. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty as it comes. It's got an S-line kit.
You've also done a bit of dyno and draggy work on this. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so part of the journey is about looking what this low-cost product potential was, going through a couple of stages. So we dynoed it stock, made about 143 kilowatts. Remember, it had a GTI engine, but it's sapped even further with the quattro. So we did a draggy 0 to 100, and it's about 5.3, 5.4 seconds, and the book says around that. So we knew we were kind of starting with a semi-good one. We then did a stage 1 Galano 98 tune, so no hardware was touched, just making sure obviously it's serviced and maintained. That dropped just over a second, I think. So it proves just what the software could do on its own, but really hardware limitations, right? Small turbo, responsive, but just no puff at the top. The next stage is where we are now. So we just went to town on it. So we've got Turbo Technics V5 large frame turbo, integrated engineering intercooler, 3.5-inch downpipe, still got the standard cap back on at the moment. I might change that. We've also got a Galano fuel system. We're actually running 1700cc port injectors to supplement the direct injectors. High pressure fuel pump upgrade, low pressure in-tank upgrade, done the lines, flex sensor, full E85, but again, all of this stuff fits all of these cars. and we had it ready to go. So we just threw everything at it. So I've been using a bit of, I wouldn't call it spare time because I'm a father of two, but yeah, evenings and weekends to throw this thing together so that it's ready for a little bit of fun on the track.
Alex, considering you said it's got a stock cat back, it's still got a bit of that hippopotamus burble, hasn't it? I can see why you'd just leave a stock cat back on it. It's loud enough. Does it have a bimodal type system on it?
It's got one flap on one side.
So where do you normally start doing this sort of thing? Like, do you creep up on it, or do you just give it?
If everything checks out and you've done a stock run and the car's healthy, everything's up to date, you need to rely on the machinery. If there's an issue, it's not usually anything that we've done if we've not done the pre-checks. So yeah, there's a bit of a process around it, but I guess I've done enough of these now that I can feel when something's not right. With these cars, the data collection and acquisition is so good and so fast, and the sample rate's so high that yeah, you can see pretty much everything that's going on. But yeah, I'm not blindly just doing runs, I'm watching the data as it happens. So if I see something I don't like, too much boost or it's knocking or whatever, I can pull out quick enough to you know, make a change.
So this V5 turbo, what's its sort of sweet spot?
These engines as a whole do take a lot of boost. You probably would argue they're less efficient because they require more boost, but their ability to make power on high boost is the sweet spot.
They make very good power on 98 even, don't they?
Yeah, so say about 310 kilowatt is probably about 30 psi.
Now for all of our European friends, we are talking at the real figure at the wheels, not made up BHP.
Yeah, so I'm English, as you might have realised, and you know, we've run cars back to back with the same software here and then in the UK, and the logs are very, very similar. So the car's doing the same thing,
yeah,
and the numbers are just wildly different.
I explained to someone recently, an American friend, who, you know, their dyno figures are remarkably higher for the same mods. I was trying to explain, it doesn't matter what that number is in the dyno, the car will drive the same, your car won't be any quicker.
Yeah, and I think that's the advent of the Draghi, the telemetry in the user's hands.
You can't really cheat that.
No, well, you can't.
Americans love their 1 foot rollout rubbish, but
they do, and there's nothing stopping you putting the Draghi in a different car and going out and generating a number. We've seen that before, but that's why the ones with the videos are good, because you can see you're in a specific car doing a specific thing. But yeah, I think the modern measurement has become the 100 to 200. Obviously, that's nigh on impossible on the street in this country.
No, we don't condone that at all.
No. But on the track, you'll get a nice snippet. It gives a relative number to a wider audience. So this is just £30.
Just a warm-up run.
Just a warm-up run, 30 psi.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
So we started at 320 odd kilowatts, Alex, and you've finished up at 361.
Yeah, some boost increases in there, incremental, but we're being very careful. Like, we're trying to save the rods, keep this thing alive until we build it. Yeah, pretty much thanks to the V5 here. We've sold a lot of these units. They're made in the UK. It is a specific application, large frame turbocharger for MQB.
Small exhaust housing.
I mean, obviously it's down to the turbo trim, right? So how big is the rear versus how big is the front? It's still journal bearing. That technology is certainly not dead.
No. Well, you've got some new technology on it.
Yeah, anti-surge in there. It utilises the factory diverter valve. This is the same one you get on a standard car. So when people come in and they want, you know, blow-off valves and vacuum operated ones, we go, well, the V5 comes with a stock electronic one, and obviously the response time on that's good. And then it's an electronic actuator on the rear. We dial this into a specific voltage, and again, it's response time and robustness that you get from that.
What have you made out of one of these on the 2 litre platform?
The engine will fail before the turbo. On a built engine, about 380. Some have reported 400, but I think that's a rarity. But there is a couple of other variants, prototype variants that are slightly larger. We've got a V6 prototype that we're running on a customer car at the moment. But very capable unit. I think, as I said to you earlier, it's probably one of the only units that responds and has the legs to make peak power. And generally you'd pick one of the two, but this.
And they're quite reliable at high boost.
Yeah, the shafts are really strong. I don't know of any warranty repairs past replacing the actuators, which is an OEM part. They're awesome. They really are a great bit of kit. So yeah, look, we'll continue to sell them as their distributors all the way from the UK, made by very interesting men in aprons drinking tea. And yeah, we're proud to sell products from the UK here at Underground Performance and share them with the Australian public.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? Before
There's a
and
bit
after.
of area under the graph.
Just a little bit. What impresses me in a way, Alex, for that 141 kilowatts, the car's still quicker than you'd think.
These modern all-wheel drive cars, I guess they're more like scalpels than hammers. And their DSG and its ability to launch is, you know, really impressive.
That is huge. It just shows how capable the engine and trans is in these cars. I think one thing we didn't touch on, Alex, is this car still using a stock catback exhaust?
Yeah, well, with the Volkswagen Audi products, again, all these engines are the same, and they tune the exhaust by just moving resonators around and increasing the size on them. And this one just seems to have quite a free-flowing exhaust from the factory. You can tell that because of how loud it is. So we've put a downpipe on here, and we didn't see any restriction on the dyno, which is really good. So we'll run that for a bit, see how we go, but I think I will change it for something a little bit more purposeful at some stage, because it does taper down halfway through the exhaust. 33. So I limited the boost pressure to about 34 pounds.
A great way you can support Full Boost is to purchase some of our merch. We've got many different styles on offer, so what are you waiting for? Grab one today at shop.fullboost.com.au.
Divert power to engines.